You have about 30 seconds. Okay, we have about 10 seconds. Once you hear the recording in progress, you're ready to go.
Thanks, John.
Good afternoon. I will call to order this Left One Disability Board meeting for July 11th at 12:15. Looks like we have our full group here. I don't think anyone is missing. We have an amended agenda in front of us. So hopefully everyone has seen the amended agenda that was received today. And I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve the amended agenda.
Second.
All right, so moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We have minutes from the meeting of April 11th. We would also need to take action on.
Move to approve the meeting minutes for April 11th, 2024.
Do we have a second?
Well, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, again, we have a unanimous approval. Public comment. Since there is no one from the public, I'm assuming we don't have any public comment. Not anyone in the background that I can't see at City Hall, right? Okay. Then we'll move right into our business items. Land acknowledgement policy. Shannon.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. Jenny invited me. It sounds like there was some discussion at the last meeting about the city's land acknowledgement policy. So I thought I would provide some background and then also provide some options that are available for you as an advisory board of the city. So I have a really brief presentation. So I'm going to share my screen. If I just get a thumbs up if you can see the screen. You're looking at the presentation.
I cannot see it. Oh, now I can.
Okay. All right. So it's the full screen, council member?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Well, just a little bit of background. The city of Lacey has actually had a mutual accord with the Nisqually Indian tribe since 2014. And what this accord does is it acknowledges the partnership and mutual interests between the city and the Nisqually Indian tribe. It also talks about having future collaboration, including meetings. And as part of this accord, the Nisqually Indian tribe presented the city with a carved totem pole, which is actually located here at City Hall. First thing you see as you walk into the building. And the totem and the accord was rededicated in 2015. Land acknowledgements are rooted in many Indigenous peoples' practices and cultural protocols. Just as an example, we pulled this from the Duwamish tribe webpage. The Duwamish tribe is located closer to the greater Seattle area. But what it basically says is that this isn't a new process. This has been something that's been practiced by tribes. It's a traditional custom dating back many centuries. And it's really a simple way of resisting the erasure of Indigenous histories and working towards honoring and inviting the truth. Land acknowledgements themselves are really designed to respect and recognize Indigenous communities, to provide support, to help continue to build strong relationships and authentic relationships, bring awareness to past histories, including histories of dispossession, displacement, colonialization, erasure, and broken treaties. And also to recognize the impact that Indigenous peoples have had on history, cultural, and positive impacts just on the greater community. And like I mentioned, we have a really great relationship with the Nisqually Indian tribe. Land acknowledgements also serve as one of many ways to help inspire more action and better relationships, and they're not designed to be performative acts. Back in September 21st of 2023, the Lacey City Council adopted the land acknowledgement policy. So this is found in the City Council Policies and Procedures Manual. It's section 1008. And basically what it allowed for the kind of application here to advisory boards is that it allows the use of the land acknowledgement as part of an advisory board meeting. So you can see in this blue section that I've highlighted, it says additionally, land acknowledgement may be used at the beginning of meetings or other events hosted by the cities, including number 4, which is city advisory boards or commission meetings. This is at the discretion, though, of the advisory boards. So you as a body could choose to add the land acknowledgement to your agendas. If you do choose to do that, what we do recommend is that you either add the full or the abbreviated land acknowledgement. There are 2 versions. What we have found is that all of the boards that have adopted to use it have gone with the abbreviated land acknowledgement. It's significantly shorter, and where they land on the agenda is at the beginning of the agenda, and that's part of our recommendations for use at city meetings and events. So just to give you an example, this is the full land acknowledgement. You can see that there are several paragraphs here that just really dive into the history of being on the ancestral and territorial lands of the tribal people of the Treaty of Medicine Creek, which was signed in 1854, and really highlighting the Nisqually Indian tribe and the Squaxin Indian tribe. I do want to make note that when we were creating this policy, both the full land acknowledgement and the abbreviated land acknowledgement, we did work with representatives from the Nisqually Indian tribe. We kind of went back and forth and they provided their input and just kind of what they thought was important to keep focusing on. So one of the things that they really highlighted was making sure to mention the Medicine Creek Treaty of 1854 and to provide a link so that people could actually read that and see the history and what's in there. We also brought this forward several times to our Commission on Equity to provide feedback, and then brought that feedback back to our partners at the Nisqually Indian tribe. We reached out to representatives from the Squaxin Island tribe, however, we did not hear back from them. The abbreviated land acknowledgement, as you can see, is significantly shorter, but it's got a lot of this information really condensed. And so you can see it reads that we, and then you would insert, for example, this advisory board are on the ancestral, or the city of Lacey, are on the ancestral land of the Nisqually people of the Treaty of Medicine Creek, including the Nisqually Indian tribe and the Squaxin Island tribe. We acknowledge and remember those tribal people who are not recognized today, who were absorbed or relocated into other tribes for survival. We recognize the ancestors and their descendants who are still here. We recognize and respect the tribal people of the Treaty of Medicine Creek as the traditional stewards of this land since time immemorial, and their role today in taking care of these lands in perpetuity. We recognize and have the responsibility to call attention to the histories of dispossession, forced removal, and abridged treaty rights that have allowed our nation, state, and city to develop as they have today. We recommend that community members read the Medicine Creek Treaty of 1854. So that's a really brief overview of the land acknowledgement policy. And like I mentioned earlier, it is at the discretion of this board whether or not you'd like to move forward with adding it to your agendas. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Is there any committee or board that has not done this?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Cecil.
So the only thing I would bring up is, unlike some of our boards and committees, we've never had a member of the public attend in all the years that I've been on this committee. So I'm just not, I mean, I have no issue with reading it. I'm not sure that it's necessary when there's been no members of the public to ever attend. Does it still make sense to do it, I guess, is the question.
Councilmember, I think that's a really good question. I think part of it is not just kind of for the public's benefit, but also just recognizing as a group of the kind of situation. But certainly, again, like I said, this is at the discretion of this board on whether or not you want to move forward. And Mr. Cecil, I can certainly get some more information on what boards have considered it. To my knowledge, most of them that have added it to their agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And we certainly do it at every council meeting and work session as well.
So you read this
Well, I
aloud?
think- Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
You read this aloud in every meeting and every council session?
We do. Typically the mayor or whoever is presiding over the meeting, if he's not there, reads. Typically, I think we use the the shorter version
Mhm.
for those meetings.
That is correct, Councilmember.
Are you guys
Yeah,
calling on me?
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to let you know I got booted out and I had to come back in. So I'm going to turn my video off so connectivity will be a little bit better, hopefully.
Did you have something, Ed?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't have a problem with this board supporting this at all. I'm just wondering, will there be other things coming down the road looking forward that may be similar or as important as that? And where do we draw the line? I mean, and how many of these are we gonna have? But I agree with you, Lenny. We rarely have a public attendance, and I think officially we need to support it. But I can go either way, having it on the agenda.
But this is this is part of these minutes are part of a public.
Yeah.
Yeah, access.
The minutes would definitely be public, yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, for the sake of consistency throughout all our boards and committees, and anyone could go 5 years from now probably and look up this meeting, and it should probably be there. If nothing less, just to respect our neighbors and show that we care about each other. I'm supportive of it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Do we need a formal motion, or, I mean, it sounds like there's support. Ed, Paul, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm okay if we go with it.
It sounds like across the board, everyone is comfortable with it. Do we need formal action on this, Shannon?
Council members, I would recommend a formal action to add it to the agenda.
Then I would make a motion to add to our agendas for the future, reading of the land acknowledgement at the beginning of each meeting.
Abbreviated.
Abbreviated land, yes, the abbreviated land acknowledgement.
I'd second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, again, we have unanimous support, so we will add that to our agendas going forward.
Thank you, Shannon.
Well, thank you all.
Thanks, Shannon, appreciate it.
More work for you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, it's not that much work. I think I can handle it. All right, let's move on to a review of the left one claims. Jen?
Lenny, should we ask whoever assembles the agenda to actually put that
It will be on the, I do
the
that.
words in the agenda?
We can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be typically like on our council agendas, it's like right there in the agenda. So it's
Yeah.
there for the person to read from.
I would have a hard time remembering it.
Oh, no, definitely something we're gonna read. I have trouble remembering my name, let alone all of that, so. Let's move on to the left one claims. Jenny?
We had 3 claims since our last meeting, and they were all under the threshold for me to be able to approve as the HR liaison. And so we had one claim for $135 for a prescription reimbursement on May 31st. Then we had a request for reimbursement for multiple massages on June 7th. That was for $1,120. And then we had another request for reimbursement for $135 for a prescription reimbursement on June 20th. And so I reviewed all of those and forwarded them to finance for processing. Does anybody have any questions about any of those?
I don't have any questions on the specific claims. I'm just wondering, is there a source of a financial statement that outlines the city of Lacey's portion of the left one overall budget, and how much we have left, just so we have an idea of what our financial situation in the city of Lacey is?
I'm sure that a report could be run as far as what is paid out. We are required by law to pay most things that they submit, depending on the type of claim, and as long as it falls under like a medical necessity. So if you're interested in hearing about that, I could put together a total for the year.
Does the, no, I'm not particularly interested in a summary of what we've paid
Oh,
out.
what we, okay,
What I'm interested in is
is what we
what,
What we
allocate
have.
as far as budget.
what our allocation is from the left one, what, account? And, you know, like the overall liability or the overall assets of the left one account statewide. I assume that's where all of the money comes from. And then an understanding as, you know, does the city of Lacey get a specified portion of that, or is it all of the approved expenses, are they all bundled together and come?
I think, Jenny, what Ed's looking for is more of a, how does the process work behind the scenes? Where is the money? How much money is there?
Yeah.
In order to pay these claims? Like, are we gonna run out of money? You know, how much money is there available? I know my understanding is it's extremely well financed, and there's not an issue with running out of money in Left One, from my understanding, based on, unfortunately, there's not that many people left on Left One. But I think is that what you're trying to get to, Ed? Is more of
Yeah,
see
yeah,
the
just an
bigger picture?
understanding. Just one of my interests is the stability and financial status of all of the retirement funds, statewide, county, city, and so on. My understanding is some of them are notoriously underfunded, and I'm concerned about that.
Sure, I will go ahead and look into that for you, and I'll be prepared to talk about that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I think also, for whatever it's worth, any left one member, and there's only 10 of us left, can submit any medical claim, and what's not covered under Regents Med Advantage, the city is totally responsible for. So there's no reimbursement by the State Board of Retirement or any of that. It all comes out of city funds. And it's very difficult to say, oh, what's the budget for maybe the year, because you never know what's going to happen with these left one folks and how serious a medical condition or an
Yeah.
incident may occur that is not covered by the insurance. So just to let you know, Ed.
And keep in mind also, we're only paying that which isn't covered by the insurance already. So I mean, there is health insurance in place as well as long-term care insurance in place. So we're covering those expenses not covered by the insurance.
Right.
The only exceptions to that would be like elective procedures that aren't really medically necessary. There have only been a few submitted in the history, to my knowledge, that were not approved, that were more of an elective.
Yeah, well, that's interesting though, because Ed, what you indicated was that the funds that we're using here and approving are not coming out of a state budgetary or a state account. That
Correct.
Through city funds.
that they're coming out of city funds, so we have actually no way of funding them.
Is he asking, do we have a line, is it a line item of the city's budget for Left One medical?
It is, yes, we do have it outlined, because when I submit the claims for reimbursement, it comes out of that line item. So, without having it, handy right now, I would have to look up and see where we're at on that, but that would tell us, you know, probably what we allocated, but like, Ed mentioned, we are liable for any and all costs, and those could change drastically.
It might be good for the
Depending
next
on-
meeting, possibly Troy, or, you know, Troy probably could do a really good job of explaining this, I think, you know, because obviously the budget is kind of his world. It might be good to have him at our next meeting if possible, to kind of give an explanation so that everybody understands. You know, Ed's not been here as long as some of the others and stuff, so probably wouldn't hurt if we could get Troy to come maybe to the next meeting.
Yeah,
Well, I
I'll reach out
think,
to him.
I think it'd be useful. I mean, if it's not coming out of a state retirement account that is previously funded by, left one contributions and so forth, it puts a different light on things.
Yeah, Troy will be able to explain that very clearly, I'm sure.
Okay,
Okay,
sorry for the
No,
diversion off into,
you're fine. We ready? We good to move on?
yeah.
All right, item 6C, which is city email.
I just wanted to check in with all of the board members to ensure that you are able to access your city email and receive all of the information there. As we mentioned in the last meeting, I will not be sending things to you in a board capacity to your personal emails. You will receive emails personally, but that will be as a member capacity. Is anybody still experiencing any issues?
No, mine's working through my Outlook, so.
Okay, great.
Mine's working fine so far. I got the amended agenda this morning before the meeting. So,
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, yours shouldn't be a problem, Mike, because you're on the portal and everything already for council anyway, so.
yeah.
Okay, moving on to item D, board member term expiration. So I guess technically, Bob, you already expired your term on May 31st.
We're still in the voting process, so I just wanted to give you all an update that I will be sending out the ballots, and once those are received, then we will just adjust those dates. And apologies for the delay there.
Is there any issue with the fact that technically the term is expired as far as that or anything? We're good? Okay. Good. Anything else for the good of the order?
I just want to say that a couple of my left one friends just wanted to thank Jenny for being so professional and prompt in their claims and the dealings they've had with her. And I just heard this in the last month on some conversations. So I wanted to thank her for staying on top of our business here with the city of Lacey.
Oh, thank you, Ed.
You bet.
Yeah, we appreciate the work that you do, so thank you very much.
You're welcome. Happy to help.
Great. Well, if there's nothing else, I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. And I'll see you again in next quarter for the next meeting.
Have a good Thursday.
Thanks,
Yeah,
everyone.